Hi! Are pregnancies things to turn into competitions? Am I the better sibling for having a baby first? These are two very important questions that we need to answer on today's first story. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole? Now, if you love today's bloody good story, you know what to do. Smack that like button, I'm not gonna say it again. Sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and get ready for a bloody good episode. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for announcing my pregnancy first? So I, 26 female, am married to my dear husband, 26 male, and have an older sister, 27 female, who I'll call Kay. For some background, Kay was the golden child, but my parents rapidly changed their tune when she failed university and started a party lifestyle for a bit, which is no longer the case. Suddenly, I was the favorite because I finished school and had a moderately successful life. I think it's BS that my parents have or had favorites, and I largely keep my distance, but it's something that has troubled Kay a lot. So, dear husband and I recently got pregnant, surprise, and though I keep a healthy distance from my parents, we still talk. Boundaries are really important to have with them because they will trample over your entire life and privacy. COVID restrictions are a thing, and I'm not big on big parties anyways, so I decided to just tell my family about the latest news during a monthly family video chat last Friday. I was excited to share the news, but I also didn't beat around the bush. Once everyone had done the preliminary catching up, I said dear husband and I had some news, and then said that I was pregnant. My parents, sisters, and grandmother lost it, screaming and laughing and crying in joy. This is the first grandchild/great-grandchild/niece or nephew, so they understandably had a pretty dramatic reactions. Everyone was excited except for Kay, who stayed completely silent the entire time. Once things calmed down a bit, I asked if Kay was still there and she said yes, but she had to go and deal with something. I thought it odd, but didn't give it much further thought. Later, I get a text from Kay saying that she was going to make a pregnancy announcement then too, but that I had ruined it. I should have asked her specifically before making the announcement, because she, as firstborn, should have been the one to have the first grandchild, that my child would get all the attention and love, and hers would be second-rate. I sent her a text saying that I had no clue she was pregnant and congratulating her, and that I was sorry that she didn't get to make the announcement when she wanted to. I then, possibly quite stupidly, asked when her due date was, and Kay said, "Don't worry, you're first," and has not answered anything since. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the arsehole. I might be the arsehole because I didn't even think to check with my sisters. I stole the moment and said something dumb despite knowing my sister's complicated dynamic with our family and I. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. You had no idea that she was pregnant. She's just mad because she's not the center of attention, and that's her problem, not yours. I feel terribly for OP because you just know that her sister is going to be competing like this for the foreseeable future. And while their parents deserve the lion's share of the blame for playing favorites and creating this dynamic, Kay clearly desires it because it benefits her. And because she grew up in the role of favorite, it's hers and her children's by right. Sarcasm, by the way. For the foreseeable future, or forever. Which kid smiles first, crawls first, walks first, talks first? It's all going to be an issue with OP's sister. OP, just ignore as much as possible. This isn't a competition, but she'll likely make it one. Speaking from experience, it's continued into the teen years for us. We treat it like a quirk at this point because anything else would be a crapstorm, not the arsehole. But try to have some compassion for your sister because your parents are the true arseholes here. They've raised you both in a way that encourages you to compete for their affection, and she hasn't broken free of it the way you have. She probably thought that announcement would get her back the love that they've been withholding, only to find out that she was out of luck. Not your fault at all, but I loathe to get too negative with her because this all comes from your parents' shitty approach to parenting. And OP replies, exactly this. You said this a lot better than I could have. It's just difficult since we are both adults now on where to draw the line, I suppose you'd say. At the next generation. It's a perfect opportunity for your babies to be raised as close cousins who are just as important and special as each other. Take back the narrative that's affected both of you and agree that it stops with you two. Easier said than done, I'm very aware. Also, congratulations on your pregnancy. And now on to the update. First things first, I want to thank each and every one of you who commented, voted, and gave their feedback and advice. The outpouring of support was both shocking and overwhelmingly touching. Y'all's compassion was amazing. Thank you all for taking the time. And now on to the update. I'm sorry it took so long. Kay took a bit to respond to me. So I waited about a day and then sent Kay a long message, essentially saying that I knew she was hurting right now, but that we need to band together for our kids, that our parents did wrong by all of us kids, and that we needed to stop the cycle then and there. But we could only do that if we worked together. Corny, I know, but it needed saying. I then finished off by asking her to call me when she had time. Well, she called me after a couple of days, and the first thing she did was apologize. Some of you guessed that she had built this up in her head as a band-aid for her relationship with the family, and you were right. I know some people think she was lying about being pregnant, but she was really crying on the phone and full of remorse. She said she was furious initially, and then she was sad. We used to be really close before my parents started pitting us against each other, and she realized that our kids could grow up that close to one another and not resent each other. And she felt guilty for being so greedy. She said she was also afraid because she's not as financially well off as I am, and as a result, was or is afraid for her baby's quality of life and knew that the golden child would want for nothing. We agreed to take steps to make sure boundaries are enforced and are mutual on both ends, and she agreed to get back into therapy with the potential of a group session in the future. I'm going to be proactive with my parents in making sure that things are fair. And I'm reaching out to a friend of mine whose youngest no longer needs their baby supplies and see if she'll be willing to donate them to Kay or sell for cheap. You know, that kind of thing. I'm not holding my breath too much, because actions speak louder than words, but I am cautiously optimistic for the future. Also, apparently she's 7 weeks along now and I'm 12 weeks, so the kids will be super close together. Now in the comments, check in your and her area for a Buy Nothing group. We have one here and have gotten and given some amazing stuff. Our group is on Facebook. And OP replies, yeah, this is a great recommendation. There's one in our area, so I'll be sure to pass it along. Thanks for the update. I'm good to hear that y'all are trying to mend your fences. And OP replies, I'm really hoping that everything goes well. Glad to hear that things are out in the open. I don't know why, but I feel far more optimistic than you do. I felt very sorry for your sister in your first post, even if she was wrong in that instance. About being proactive with your parents about fairness, I'm curious what that entails if you don't mind sharing. I assume that you would continue to keep your distance. Those kinds of parents will not make things fair. They will probably rather have no golden child than equality between the children. And OP replies, potentially, we'll see. I'm thinking they will want a golden child over none, and I'm counting the potential of getting sort of disowned for standing up for myself. I don't give a crap about that. If that happens, then good. I don't need that toxicity in my life. They may just shift their attention from me to Kay, which is not very likely, or to one of our younger siblings, starting fresh. I'll be really surprised if that happens, but who knows? I was horrified at the level of favoritism you described in your original post. Your parents seriously almost let you die as a baby because they were too busy fawning over your sister? They took your presents to give to your sister, bought her multiple cars and paid for her college, while not even buying you and your siblings shoes? I don't understand why you even talk to them after suffering that level of abuse. Do you live in a non-Western culture where that's at all acceptable? At any rate, good luck dealing with them in the future. I hope you and your sister can foster a healthy relationship between your kids. And OP replies, sort of. We are part of a cultural minority, but one that has been here for ages, so it probably contributes, but not enough to explain or excuse it entirely, as family ties are really important. If Kay had been born a boy, or any of my siblings, the favoritism would be worse, and God help us if my baby is a boy, but we've westernized for generations too, so we're in that nebulous middle ground. It's a little hard to explain my reasoning of why I'm still in contact. The simplest being my youngest sibling is still a teen, and the second youngest still lives there while she's in school. Additionally, after the boundaries I've put in place, there's not much point cutting all contact. There is for my kid, which is why I'll be monitoring everything very, very carefully. It won't make me happier or give me peace or closure, and working to make sure they know they can't treat my younger sisters like they treated me, and making sure they become better people. My history is my history, and you can't change the past, but you can change the future, but only if you're actively there to help it along. That said, I'm dropping them like a hot potato the second I hear about any BS being directed towards the babies, either Kay's or mine, and they won't have access to them when I'm not there. Our next post is titled, "Would I be the asshole for not inviting my mom to my wedding because she implied my fiancé is abusive?" I, 25 female, will be getting married to my fiancé, 26 male, in about a year. For background, my parents and I have never had a very good relationship. They were verbally abusive to me as a teenager and threatened to kick me out. And since they've refused to apologize for any of that, the relationship never recovered. Anyway, on to the current question. Back in December, my fiancé and I were planning to go visit my family for Christmas. He got sick several days before we were supposed to leave, and we thought that it was either appendicitis or COVID. So we made plans to delay travel for a few days until we got test results back for both things. My mum did not take this well. She implied that she didn't believe me when I told her what was going on, and tried to make me feel guilty for missing a certain extended family gathering. I felt like I was being disrespected, so I texted and told her I wasn't going to come at all. She got me on the phone after, which did not go well. She said several nasty things, one of which was a strong implication that my fiancé was abusive. Her exact words were, "Do you really not think that it's going to raise red flags to everyone who knows you that you two are spending Christmas isolated from both of your families?" She has never apologized for this or acknowledged that she said anything amiss. Now I don't want to invite her to our wedding because of that statement, but I worry that what she said is not enough to justify me taking this step because, to be fair, I never explicitly asked for an apology. Would I be the asshole for not inviting her? Now in the comments, not the asshole. But if these people are abusive to you, why are you spending time with them? Register for some therapy and help yourself break away. Not the asshole, why were you going to visit them anyway? And OP replies, obligation mostly. Ever since I moved out, I've been through the same cycle where I go to visit once every several months, and I'm miserable by day 3. And then after I haven't seen them for a few months, I convince myself that, oh, I'm just misremembering. It'll be nice to visit again. Rinse and repeat. I should really stop doing that. Not the asshole, and wait until you see how you feel after a year of no contact. It's amazing. Not the asshole. It's your wedding, your day, do what you feel is going to bring you the most peace. Ask for an apology, but if she refuses or tries to gaslight you, inform her that she's no longer invited and move on with your life minus her in it. It's obvious she's not going to change, and you certainly don't need that toxicity going forward. You already know that you're not the asshole. You're just asking for permission to have boundaries with your mom. You have our permission. If she honestly apologizes, a true apology that doesn't go, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way about what I said," she can come. Let go of the fear, obligation, and guilt. She is an adult who needs to know that her words and actions can cause other people to not want to be around her or share their celebration with her. You have permission to treat your mother like an adult. And OP replies, yeah, You're basically right. I already was 99.99% sure that I wasn't the asshole, but needed some external validation that it was okay to set boundaries. Thank you. And now on to the update. Well, my parents and I are now estranged. My mum and I got into another known drag-out over the phone when I called to ask for an apology and tell her that she wouldn't be invited to the wedding. A bunch more nasty things were said by her. I think I was fairly civil throughout, and we are no longer speaking. The estrangement may not be permanent, but my parents definitely won't be at my wedding, and unless there is some evidence that they are seriously interested in changing, they won't be in my life at all. My fiancé is super relieved. He had made sure to never suggest to me that I limit contact with my parents because he didn't want anyone to suspect that he was isolating me, but he's glad that I made this decision nonetheless. I didn't know that he would feel this way until after I'd made the decision, by the way. I knew he would respect whatever I decided, but wasn't sure how enthusiastic he would be. I'm still on good terms with both of my siblings, and neither of them is either upset or surprised at my having cut off our parents. My sister and I are still texting almost every day, so that relationship should still be fine. All in all, I think things have turned out as well as they could have, given who my parents are as people. Thanks to all of you folks for your support. And now in the comments, grats and have fun at your wedding. And OP replies, thank you. My fiancé and I keep joking about how my parents have behaved sufficiently badly that they're not getting wedding cake, which is a shame for them because we're going to make sure it's really good wedding cake. Their loss. And I'm inclined to get enough cake for the extra 2 people and just eat it myself. Not the arsehole. Had a similar talk with my mum this week. You can't choose family, but you can choose how much influence they have over you. And OP replies, oof. I'm sorry you had to go through this too. I hope this goes well for you, and that you find peace with whatever solution you decide to pursue. Not the arsehole. Good for you. And by the way, you'll feel as though a huge weight is lifted off your shoulders as time goes on. I know I did. When certain holidays come around, you might be torn between making nice or letting go, but reminding yourself of why you chose to step away will help. I know some people can change, but most of the people I've dealt with only change temporarily until they get back into my good graces. Their real feelings are always bubbling just below the surface, and they eventually erupt. Take care, and have a most beautiful wedding. And OP replies, thanks so much. I feel like a weight has lifted already. I have every intention of having an awesome wedding with my fiancé who is an amazing human, with my siblings, and all the other people that we love. It is going to be great. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.